Step 3, execution of plan. After you start getting the investors to invest in your business, it's time for you to execute them together. So you have your plan, you've joined an investment club, and now it's time for you to sell your ideas to your fellow investors. However, it's imperative for you and your investors to be on the same page. Your investors will need to evaluate your ideas together to reach for your business's desired goal. It's advised that you start your plan as soon as you acquire the fund, regardless of the amount. When your business is making profit, people will naturally be more willing to invest in you. Always remember that profit is the key. It's better than revenue, a profit margin. Profit is everything. This explains why your investors will only be interested in your business's profit, not your revenue. While executing your plan, keep a journal or a report about the execution and the outcome of your plan. This will aid as a reference for any future investment plan. Keep a record of the profit made as proof. A successful story will boost your credibility and status. In the future, this will increase the confidence of other investors to invest in your business. Let's continue talking about bootstrapping. If you've just started your business and sales are low, that means profit is low. In this module, you'll learn the second tactic that many entrepreneurs are not aware of at this phase. Tactic number 2 is to use what you have to its maximum ability. This translates into being resourceful. This tactic will save you hundreds and thousands of dollars in the long run. And trust me on this when I say it's worth the effort. Before starting my own business and managing a 7-figure company, I got my business experience from working in the largest fast-moving consumer goods company in the world. The company is now worth billions of dollars and has an annual target of one key business unit in the company of over 150 million US. Yes, it's big. Yes, it's huge, and the numbers are glorious, but I saw its Achilles heel. Its massive size was becoming its bane. There were too many processes. Staff turnover was high, and innovation was low. Our numbers were high, but actually we couldn't sustain it. Targets got higher, the market got more competitive, and the stress level of the company was getting more and more toxic. At some point, everyone was clouded with internal bottlenecks and putting out fires within internal departments. Smaller and newer competitors that came into the market were launching products faster than we could react or even innovate. And by the time we got the first campaign rolling to respond to our competitors' product launches, they had already launched product number 2. What was the difference? How could they launch at such speed? When we analyzed the situation, what I discovered was that because they were smaller, they could move and mobilize more quickly. They were being resourceful with what little they had, while we were dragging our feet. Don't make our mistake. In this module of Big Business Blueprint, you'll understand Tactic 3 as it refers to being innovative. This will help you as a business owner to constantly challenge your business. Tactic number 3, disrupt your own company, or your competitors will. This tactic translates into innovation. As a business owner, your worst enemy is yourself, your own mind. The moment you get complacent is the moment you stop growing. Your complacency is also your comfort zone, and there's only so much growth that can happen in your comfort zone. True story. I'm sure you've heard of Uber, an app that makes hiring an on-demand private driver easy. Today, in 2017, Uber is valued at over $66 billion. The entire core function of the business is built on the model of hiring drivers. But guess what their R&D department is doing? They're researching self-driving cars. This means that eventually customers will hire self-driven cars instead of on-demand drivers. If Uber was not disrupting themselves, then Google or Tesla would do it for them. The big picture is these 3 bootstrapping tactics are designed to make you and your company grow with the most effective use of resources. Be obsessed with growth because that's the quickest way to get to 7 figures. Everything grows, even in nature. Do you know how a lobster grows? The hard shell doesn't grow with the soft body of the lobster. So the hard shell is a fixed size. When the soft body of the lobster grows, it feels discomfort. It expands into all the space within the hard shell. It starts to get really uncomfortable until at a certain point, it knows that it needs to shed its current limiting shell. The lobster then finds a spot under a rock, exits from its hard shell, and waits under that rock for its new layer to harden and grow into its new stature and its new strength. That's how a lobster grows, but I think we can learn from it, and that's how our businesses can grow too. Strategy allows organizations to develop a clearer understanding of their own organization and what's required for them to succeed. It helps organizations understand their core capabilities, identify and address weaknesses, and mitigate risks. It can help organizations better design themselves so that they're focusing on the right things that are most likely to deliver the best performance, productivity, and profit both now and in the future. While strategy can be difficult for many organizations to commence, its benefits are far-reaching and many. From creating new business opportunities to streamlining the operations and engaging staff, a well-formulated strategy will enable increased growth, productivity, and profit, both now and into the future. Depending on where you are now in your business, a pay of $1 million may appear to be intimidating or very distant. The trick is to work backwards. That means if you want your business to earn $1 million a year, the business sales target per month is $83,333 a month, or $20,833 a week, or per day, $4,166. Now that there's some clarity, the next question is, where is the business now and what does the business need to reach that target? The reason having a strategy is so important is because it gives businesses time to get a sense of how they're performing, what their capabilities are, and if these capabilities are able to help them grow. A strategy can identify trends and opportunities in the future. It can examine the broader changes in the market, such as political, social, or technological changes, as well as consumer changes, and develop tactics so your business can modify and develop to suit these future changes. By creating a business strategy, a company can create a competitive advantage and ultimately understand more about themselves and where they're going. In summary, when you're bootstrapping, work your current resources to their maximum potential and be creative about it. Explore different perspectives and seek for alternatives. Operate the business on its bare necessities to keep the margins high and be obsessed with creating value. If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. This quote from Milton Berle states that you need to create opportunities and form strategies that will aid in the growth of your $1 million company. One way to construct a $1 million company is to identify a pattern and scale it to the top. For example, Micah Adler, CEO of Fixu, a portable app designer, developed this company from under $1 million in revenue to over $100 million with just $17.6 million in funding and in only 3.5 years after its launch. Some startups begin without any monetization strategy, and that's rather risky if there's no long-term goal. Twitter is an example of this phenomenon, but there are countless other companies out there building up their free user bases, hoping that inspiration and consequently financial stability will eventually strike along the way. But most gainful organizations work from one of two conscious models. Either they pitch a ton of modest items to many individuals, or they pitch a couple of big ticket items to a more limited purchaser list. What's more important than choosing is having a defined plan for monetization. Knowing how you'll make money from the start will prevent wasted time spent hoping that something profitable will come together for you miraculously. Hitting $1 million in revenue during your first year is no small feat, and you certainly aren't going to achieve that goal with a team of underperformers. Yes, hiring slackers is cheaper and easier, but you'll pay for this convenience when your end of the year sales numbers come up short, and they definitely will, trust me. Instead, you need to hire all-stars, and the fastest way to do this is to ask around for referrals. Pay particular attention to the sales hires you make, as these key employees stand to make the biggest difference in your business's bottom line. Finally, if you want to shoot for the revenue moon, you need to be absolutely militant about gathering data and acting upon the data, not your gut. When I approach an innovative marketing project, I prefer to work in short sprints of a few weeks or less, where we'll try something new, check the stats to see how the changes impacted revenue, and then either commit the changes or try a new test. Growing a company to 1 million in revenue in your first year isn't easy, but it is possible. Stick to the tips above and be ruthless about profitability. Even if you don't hit this particular goal, you'll earn the strongest sales results possible for your company.